One thing.
Draymond, I mean, not Draymond. Iguodala was on his way up, and he was still in motion to make a layup. He's like, wait, where did the ball go? And he was gone.
One thing I did want to talk about from tonight, because we alluded to it briefly, so I'll just throw it out to you guys. I'm doing a full heel turn here on Rob. What's wrong with this guy, man? What's wrong with him? He looks it's back to old Rob. He can't grab rebounds.
Old Greg.
It's the most perplexing player of my lifetime. He'll at times do the single most coordinated thing I've ever seen a human being do, contort his body in a weird way, catch something with his left hand, dunk it over the back of his head, land on his tiptoes and like do a little ballet move and he's fine. And then literally there's a ball in front of him and he goes to grab it and he friggin' bounces off his chin and out of bounds. Like, I can't figure this guy out at all. Sometimes he's got a basketball IQ that you think he's a friggin' genius, and other times he just looks completely clueless. His motor moves and sometimes it stops. I can't figure this guy out. It's like he's being controlled by levers or something. And then just sometimes somebody forgets to pull the lever and the thing doesn't go, you know? I can't figure him out, man. I can't do it.
You should stop trying.
Somebody say something.
Listen, I'm going to keep my Romeo.
We're worried about you, John. All right, I'll say it. We're all worried about you.
Everyone's looking at me. Is it my problem?
I mean, for me,
is this an intervention?
I feel like
it's not your fault, John. John, it's not your fault.
It's been him trying to find his offense. Yeah, it's not your fault.
John,
it's him, not you. It's him,
not you. It's
not
your fault.
John starts crying. Don't do this to me.
Stop saying this, man.
Don't
doing this.
Seriously.
No, it's frustrating for sure. And I mean, like you said, you don't really know what you're gonna get on any given night. You know why it's so frustrating? Because you've seen him at his best, right? You've seen him at his literal highest, is like a foot above the rim, and then you see him like, you know, I'm not gonna say tonight, you know, over other nights, but other nights where he just kind of blends in, you know, and it's almost like, yeah, he's capable of throwing it down if Marcus Smart makes an unbelievable pass to him. Yeah, sure. But like, it almost feels like sometimes he's not capable of doing enough on his own. Somebody said in the comments he's just another DeAndre Jordan. I think that's a little mean. I think that's a little mean. Let's not go there.
That's the word.
Hey, DeAndre back in his day, though?
Yeah, he was better than this. But he couldn't score outside the circle. That was the problem with DeAndre Jordan.
The greatest, I've said this one before, but one of my favorite quotes of all time is Charles Barkley talking about DeAndre Jordan's offensive game. He's like, if you locked him in a gym all night long and said he had, you know, with a basketball and said he couldn't dunk, he'd wake up in the morning with 2 points.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
I just think his offense has always been limited, though. I mean, defensively, yeah, he hasn't looked like himself, but you see those flashes. I just think he's just unsure of himself on offense, you know? Even when he has the ball in the paint and he has literally just have to turn around and look up, he'll turn the other way and look for the best pass, you know? I just think he just gets flustered on offense as soon as he has the ball in his hand. And without thinking, he finally makes a jump shot and it's wiped away, you know?
I don't know, man.
I think you got to adjust your expectations a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is we had this, right? Like we did this. We've seen this Rob, and we had expectations for what he might be, which is a role player or a guy who could come in and, you know, a couple of lobs.
Your
block some shots.
expectations were unbelievable. You were literally saying,
wait, stop. This was 2 years. This was 2 years ago. Then last year,
going back 2 years. Okay.
Last year, he completely changed the narrative around him because he was doing stuff we hadn't seen before. He was passing great. He was playing with confidence. He was knocking down literally 80% of his shots. He was hitting jumpers from time to time. He looks like he's like what, like he lost the playbook. And like, what am I supposed to do when I'm out here now? He looks completely out of sorts now. I don't know what it is.
I don't have that. I don't think any of us have the answer you're looking for. I will say that your expectations.
Somebody tell me something.
Way out of control when you were process. You were saying, John.
Bobby, what's wrong with Rob?
Future defensive player, you know, MVP type player, and all this stuff. And I was like, pump the brakes, buddy.
Bobby, what's wrong with Rob?
John was saying that about Rob.
I'm saying, what happened to him?
On my side here.
He backslid.
I
He's
mean,
gonna
bigger
do that.
minutes for sure. Yeah, you were just getting in smaller doses against second units last year. Now he's going against first units for a little
11
over
and
30
2 with
minutes
him as a
game.
starter, and it was the best basketball they played all year. And when his minutes ramped up, so I don't want to see. Let's not say exactly that. And he was playing
Probably a little
closing
bit of the
minutes too.
spacing
11 and
too.
2
Yeah.
is a Bobby size level sample size.
It
I mean,
doesn't
that is
matter.
A small sample size.
Doesn't matter. We were begging for it because it
No,
had
he
to
looked
happen,
amazing in
and
the-
when it did, he looked amazing. We didn't imagine this last year. We didn't.
No, I know we didn't, but it was also, again, in my opinion, a small sample size and lesser minutes, like Bobby said.
But he was good all year.
He was good all year, but he was good, like Bobby just said, coming off the bench, playing against second units, playing 15 minutes or 12 minutes a game. We were pulling our hair out because we wanted to see it. You know, his PER last year, my stat, was up there in like the top 10 of the NBA, and he was playing half of the minutes that everybody else was around him. So we were saying this guy needs to be playing more. Well, now he's playing a little bit more, and maybe we're starting to see some of the flaws in his game, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. I don't know what it is, and that's why I wish I had the answer for John, but I just don't.
I don't know. He regressed, I thought.
He's just going to be up and down all season. Because to me, that's who this team is. That's their identity. They're consistently inconsistent, and Rob is a great example of that. Someone who can be literally the best big on the floor on a night where he's playing against other great bigs, or he can be below average against a bunch of below average bigs. And he should have dominated this game offensively. I felt that there was opportunities where he should have been more forceful.
Well,
And
he's
the missed free
underdeveloped
throw,
offensively. Doesn't
Right,
have the
but there- but-
jumper, doesn't hit the free throws, doesn't really have much outside the pick and roll, and you don't have too many pick and roll ball handlers on this
Nope.
team.
No.
And
So
Golden
that
State did a
kills
good
them.
job of taking away the lob too. They were keyed in on that.
They were
multiple
dropping
times.
back. Yep.
Yeah.
It's easy to drop off these guards too. whether it's
Easy
Schroeder or
to drop
Smart.
off. Yeah, they
So
they
he's
did
hurt
it.
by this team, and you don't have shooters here either, spacing the floor around him. Physically, he's looked fine to me all along this year, and honestly, the minutes he's putting out there for what he's doing have been good in my opinion. The net rating's real strong with him. He's been impactful. He just hasn't taken over games. He hasn't making a leap. He hasn't progressed off last year. Unless
Right.
you count the defensive strides, being able to survive, not following as much and lasting over a greater amount of minutes. I count that as strides for him, certainly. It's just not as impactful as you would have imagined it being over a greater sample size. Like if we looked at his per 36 last year and what that would have
Right.
translated to this year, it hasn't matched that.
Nope.
You were expecting massive numbers from him over 36 minutes.
And plus, I think opposing defenses too. They're hip to the lob. They take that away
Right.
from him, and you take
Saw
that away
that in
from
the
the lob,
Lakers
his
game.
offense diminish. It diminishes in a big way. And you see Ime, especially in the preseason and media day before the season started, talking about evolving his offense. But he even said it himself, like it's gonna take a bit. It's gonna take a while. And on the defensive end, you want to see him be more aggressive and be more of that guy we saw in Spurs last season, but he's not always like that, On the
I know.
defensive-
I
offensively,
want.
he's always been limited.
He's still
Yeah. Go ahead,
he's
Jimmy.
still kind of a project in a way. I mean, when you talk about Rob, you talk about what you think he's capable of based on what you've seen in spurts, and I think that's his value right now. I mean, honestly, if you're ever talking about including Rob in a trade for another, a star or something that comes back, you're trading him, selling him to a team basically on the hope that he turns into the player that you think he can be. You're not basing it on here's this long list of games and production that you have that you can rely on him. You're basing it on, okay, well, we've seen him capable of doing this. We've seen him do this in spurts. We've seen him do this on this game, but they're all just as many games, if not more, where he's, just kind of another guy on the court, or, a step behind, or like Bobby said, just not polished on the offensive end. So that's the problem right now, is that you're in this point with Rob's career where you're expecting a lot more than what you're actually getting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed as you know, from the start of the season all the way through, because I think he showed up out of shape. I don't think he showed up buff from working out.
Yeah,
I think he just showed up heavy. Doesn't look to me like he practiced basketball in the offseason, because there wasn't any particular skill that got better, and you didn't hear anything about it like, oh yeah, I worked on blank. It was just like,
Yeah.
I'm here. I am Rob Williams, and that was
It
it.
was like, I hope to play 60 games.
I hope to
this
play
year.
60 games, like really lofty friggin' goals, you know?
His hands weren't great in this one either. So many drop balls.
No,
on
that
his
was what was
hands.
killing me. It's just like
Tipping
I
those
said, you see him
passes
do the most graceful things, and then you see him just batting the ball around. It was just such a mess.